This is 2nd Ezra chapter 16, verse 67. Behold, the Most High himself is the judge. Fear him. Leave off from your sins and forget your iniquities, to meddle no more with them forever. So shall the Most High lead you forth and deliver you from all trouble. For behold, the burning wrath of a great multitude is kindled over you, and they shall take away certain of you and feed you, being idle with things offered unto idols. And they that consent unto them shall be had in derision and in reproach and trodden under foot. For there shall be in every place and in the next cities a great insurrection upon those that fear the Lord. They shall be like madmen sparing none, but still spoiling and destroying those that fear the Lord. For they shall waste and take away their goods and cast them out of their houses. Then shall they be known who are my chosen, and they shall be tried as gold in the fire. Hear, O my beloved, saith the Lord, behold, the days of trouble are at hand, but I will deliver you from the same. Be ye not afraid, neither doubt, for the Most High is your guide, and the guide of them who keep my commandments and precepts, saith the Lord power. And let not your sins weigh you down, and let not your iniquities lift themselves up. Shalom, shalom. Before I begin this lesson, I want to give all praise, honor, and the glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakha HaKodash. Double honors to the apostles, elders, and bishops, a great millstone that rule well, and peace and blessing be multiplied on all you brethren out there teaching this word in all sincerity and in truth. Shalom to the hopeful elect, 144,000. I'm the brother Dama Agabar, here with another lesson, Lord willing to edify through the spirit and power of Yahweh Yahweh Shai. All right, I know that was a long intro, but hey, these are the times that we're entering into. And I came across a few articles. I just want to show you the title of a couple, and I'm going to read into one of them, all right? Showing you that, hey, that burning wrath is getting ready to come down upon you, Jakes, and that we're really entering into the time of Jacob's trouble, which a lot of these other Israelite groups have been telling you that Jacob's trouble is not real. And, we already been through Jacob's trouble. We've been through enough. We suffered enough. But hey, that's just not the reality of what's prophetically written. All right, we're getting ready to enter into Jacob's trouble. Very straight and difficult and hard times. And ultimately, the Lord is getting ready to let your number one enemy, Esau, Edom, come in like that flood. But as the scriptures say, the Lord is going to lift up a standard for his elect. He's going to lift up a standard for his true worshipers and followers and his elect. And 2/3 of you Jakes that's been scoffing, that's been putting far off from yourselves the evil day. You've been mocking and scoffing at the prophets. You've been calling us, false prophets, and saying that, the things that we saying are for, not going to happen in your lifetime. That we got to love Esau. We got to accept him. And, we got to have forgiveness. But, this devil is still moving in a manner in which he's getting ready to come down upon you, Jakes. And as we see with this whole immigration thing, we were telling you, Jake, especially here at Great Millstone, that, you Southern Kingdoms, you Negroes, you so-called Negro tribes, y'all over there sitting back thinking that, it was only going to happen to the Spanish-speaking tribes, and y'all got, y'all ain't got nothing to worry about. Your citizenship is protected. You have a secure place here in America. You trusted in the shadow in Egypt, but now look how Trump is moving now. He's getting ready to start rolling on you so-called Haitians and you so-called Negroes, man. And ain't none of you tribes safe here in Babylon the Great, because this enemy, the devil, is getting ready to come down upon you with great wrath. And he is building this police state, whether you want to believe it or not. And it's a part of this big, beautiful bill. In there, he's giving massive amounts of funding to law enforcement agencies, to ICE, to be the biggest law enforcement agency here on the planet. And if you notice, it's not the local police force that's rounding up that's rounding up these so-called migrants and disappearing them into these detention centers, or Alligator Alcatraz, or many of the other 100 sites that they have already built within Babylon the Great to detain and to lock up you tribes, man. All right. And hey, as soon as if they pass this big beautiful bill, you're gonna see an even bigger influx of ICE deportations and more of a police state here on this soil. Which, why we've been telling you, hey man, it's looking like the prophets and the men of the Lord. We're not gonna be out there too much longer on the highways and the byways prophesying this word, because it's just not gonna be wise. It's not gonna be safe. It's gonna be to the point to where, you know, these devils are going to be like those madmen sparing none. And they're about to start racially profiling all of you Jakes, not just so-called Hispanic looking, Hispanic speaking so-called immigrants. Because what? They're going to start coming down on these Haitians, which a lot of you Negroes can pass for looking like Haitians, man. All right. And also a lot of these ICE agents, man, a lot of these people there's a lot of people pretending to be ICE agents that are bounty hunters, that are, fucking white boys just banding together, pretending like they're ICE agents, probably renting out a warehouse and locking and grabbing you Jakes off the street, not representing themselves, not telling you who they work for, not dressed in particular ICE agent, issued regalia, and pretending like they're working for ICE and for the law enforcement agencies just to round up you Jakes to get that $1,000 a head per bounty. And they're putting you in their own rented, their own makeshift detention, warehouses to house you so that they can go and tell ICE, look, hey, we got about 40 heads over here that we believe that you can grab and round up. And we know once they grab you and round you up, man, hey, whether you were on the list to get grabbed up or not, hey, they might just grab you up any goddamn way just to get you off of the streets. So we're living in very, very dangerous and very serious times, man. So look at this. This says, this is from Democracy Now! It says, arrest now, ask questions later. Why did LA ICE agents arrest and jail U.S. citizen Andrea Velez? You see? Because it's going to start getting to the point of they're just going to start racially profiling you people, man, and just kidnapping you. And it's not going to be real ICE agents, but they're going to hold you and go and try to reclaim the bounty. You see, look at this one. It says GOP budget would make ICE the largest federal law enforcement agency in the history of the nation. You see, this is that burning wrath of a great multitude, which is getting ready to come down upon you, Jakes, man. And Jake is out here playing games. Like I said, so-called Negroes, when Issachar was the northern tribes were getting round up, Jake wasn't saying nothing. Jake wasn't trying to get involved. Not saying that, you're going to go out there and put yourself in jeopardy of getting round up. But Jake was looking like, well, that ain't for us. We good. Hey, we were brought over here as slaves. We got right to citizenship. Well, don't you know that you had that one Jake who was born in Germany on a American military base, and his father served the military for over 20 years, was just deported back to Jamaica, a land that he has no ties to, that he's never been to. That's not even his original land of origin. But they grabbed him up and said, since he was born in Germany, that he technically wasn't an American citizen. They dropped his ass off in Haiti. And then you had Trump coming out yesterday saying, and I did a lesson on this weeks ago, maybe a month ago, saying that Trump said that they were looking to start deporting and getting rid of a lot of you violent offender American citizens. Those of you that commit crimes, those of you that are all thugged out, that are gangsters. Hey, they're putting it in these different legislations to start grabbing up you Pookies and Ray Rays and you thuggos and you violent offenders. And of course they're going to get some so-called white people, some of their own caught up in these different sweeps. But hey, these devils are creating a police state, and they're going to start getting rid of a lot of you undesirables and a lot of you Jakes here, man. A lot of you Bloods and you Crips in these neighborhoods where it's violent. I remember I did a lesson talking about how over there in Memphis, they were talking about rolling out the National Guard because Memphis is just such a violent state. So much gang violence, so much shooting. All you niggas with the switches, with your pants hanging off your ass. Hey, y'all about to be targeted in a lot of this, man. And you're going to be disappeared. All right? They're going to arrest, arrest now and ask questions later. There ain't going to be no questions asked. A lot of you niggas are just going to start disappearing. And your family going to be going to police stations, putting out missing person reports, and ain't going to be no trace of you. They might put you in one of those cargo planes and, hey, if you know. All right, but that's what these devils is doing, man. We've been telling you this devil is getting ready to what? Come down with that great wrath, man, seeing that he has but a short time. All right, playtime is over. All right. No, let me get this first. And we told you this about Trump, who he is, man. And this is Isaiah chapter 19, verse 4. And it says, "And the Egyptians will I give over into the hand of a cruel Lord." And who is that cruel Lord? Donald J. Trump. And you see how he's been moving. He's even talking about deporting Elon Musk for talking shit, which we know a lot of that is theater. A lot of that is, set up to cause more distraction and to seem as if, they're at odds with one another. But shit, he was on there saying shit. Hey, if Musk keep talking shit, I'll send his ass back to South Africa. And they might just stage that to make it seem like it really happened, just to show you, to put more fear in you people, to show you that Trump ain't playing no games, which he ain't playing no games, man. So the Lord has you Egyptians, or you modern day Americans, he handed you over into a hand of a cruel Lord, which is Donald J. Trump. And a lot of you stupid Trump supporter Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans that voted for this guy, now you're second guessing. Now you feel stupid. Now you realize, hey, you've been deceived and you've been duped. Which is why we've been telling you, you Jake shouldn't be having no horse in this race. It's not for us to be voting and setting up leaders of these other heathen nations over us, because they never have our best interests at heart. And now look at this, the climate and the situation that you're getting ready to be under the hands of a cruel. Let's get this word for cruel. The word cruel is quasa. It says hard, cruel, severe, draconian, obstinate, difficult, severe, fierce, intense, vehement, stubborn, stiff of neck. You see? Rigorous of battle. She looked churlish, cruel, grievous. You see? Impudent, which means like stubborn. And that's exactly, look at this, harsh words. You see? And this is who, hey, you are given over into the hand of a cruel Lord, and a fierce king shall rule over them, saith the Lord Yahweh of hosts. And we see that. Look at this. It says Trump big bill is building a big police state. You see? And why you think it shows you that the Democrats and Republicans, they all work together, man. Remember, that whole Joe Biden, the Democrat, allowing all these immigrants to flood into this country, it was all set up from the beginning so that they could do exactly what they're doing now, so that they could build a police state, so that they could get rid of a lot of unwanted people here in this society, to bring in a massive surveillance states, to bring in Palantir, to bring in all this a need of digital identification. Hey, and it's really about to kick into high gear, on this weekend. They're talking about all these, another round of massive protests all around the country against Trump. I think it's called 50 protests in 50 states for 51, 50 protests around 50 states, all for one purpose. You see? And who knows what situations might incur, what type of so-called attacks might happen. Remember, you got the Iranian sleeper cells. America's under, a threat from enemy attacks. And what better way to have one of these sleeper cells do a particular event to blow up some shit or do something to where, they're going to have to bring in, they'll be justified in having Palantir and massive surveillance states and having everybody be digitally identified and put on this grid so we can know who was who. You see? So it's all orchestrated. It's all just setting the stage for this devil to come down with that great wrath and to bring in this new digital beast system. But anyways, here we go. It says, amid all the frenzied MAGA agitprop and bald-faced lying that have marked the final stages of Donald Trump's signature domestic policy bill, it's been easy to lose sight of his transformative policy agenda. Much of the controversy spurred by the sweeping legislation concerned is evisceration of health care coverage, a stunning $1 trillion in combined cuts to Medicaid, the state-based program funding health care across for low-income Americans, and allied coverage to poor patients under the Affordable Care Act. So it's just more and more hell getting ready to come, especially to the poor class, especially to you average, everyday working people. And I just did a lesson earlier dealing with, now they're talking about, here comes the robot takeover to take over all your jobs, man. And like I said in that lesson, hey, they're just setting the stage for you people to be in a total state of dependence, and and have universal basic incomes, be able to be put into these 15-minute cities and be put in in this digital slave system they're setting up. It says, but the bill, which emerged out of this Senate reconciliation session in a blizzard of votes to amend it on Monday, also erects a permanent immigration police state. You see, and this whole immigration police state was just it's just the way that they're just using this. Like I said, that's why they allowed all these immigrants to come in here, just so that they could set the stage for this shit to be happening. And then it's gonna expand beyond just so-called immigrants to you average American citizens, man. Mainly you tribes, you jakes, man. You see? It says, with more than 150 billion in outlays to expand the horrific surveillance, detention, and retention regime created under the Lincoln-Riley Act, the measure will carry out Trump's pledge to make the terror wreaked by mass immigration and custom enforcement officers alongside federal and National Guard troops in Los Angeles the standard operating procedure for immigration roundups going forward. It says the scale of proposed increases in ICE funding alone makes for a grim dystopian reading. As Don Moynihan notes, ICE annual budget for detentions would skyrocket from $3.4 billion in the present fiscal year to $45 billion until the end of 2029 fiscal year, a 365% increase, and a figure that outstrips the combined funding of all 50 federal prisons here per Moynihan and some additional spending comparison. So this devil is creating the total police state, man, and giving these motherfuckers funding 365% increase for the next 4 years. Because what they plan on doing a lot of rounding up in these next 4 years, basically to come against the dissident, and like I said, they're gonna expand the duties of these ICE agents from just getting so-called migrants and immigrants to you everyday average American people, against you protesters, against people who are putting tweets that they don't like, people that are talking shit against the president, against the powers that be, against particular legislations, on platforms speaking their minds and saying things that goes against the mainstream narrative. Hey, you're going to start getting visited and threatened, and mainly against the men of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. So this is why we said, man, hey, that famine of the word is getting ready to come. And you jakes, hey, you better get this word while you can, because these devils is getting ready to come down with that great wrath, man. See? It says the massive giveaways are earmarked for an agency that's shown a decidedly cursory regard for the fundamental protections afforded to all Americans by the rule of law. In conducting their expansive raids on workers and families that are not suspected of any overt criminal activity, ICE agents have masked themselves to shun responsibility for their actions, you see? And now this is how you know it's going to be a police state, because now these ICE agents with these masks, they don't have to identify themselves. You don't know who the hell they are. They could be your neighbor. They could be one of your coworkers. He's working with you in the warehouse during the day, but when he's out of work, he masks up, and he's been deputized to come out here and to round up you people, Yeah, shit. And also, like I said earlier, you got a lot of good old boys that are pretending to be ICE agents that's just going out and purging, so to speak. You can't put it past these devils, man. You could have some Proud Boys, some of these white nationalists that are pretending to be ICE, racially profiling immigrants that may look like they're fresh off the boat, grab you up, put you in a van, and take you somewhere and do God knows what, man. You see? Hey, man. Hey, Jacob's trouble is vastly approaching, man. All right. It says ICE agents have masked themselves to shun responsibility for their actions and illegal abuse of power commonly associated with Eastern Bloc police states. And also, too, hey, who's to say that they're not going to eventually bring in foreign troops, NATO troops here, pretending to be ICE agents who got a vast hatred for you Americans and that's getting paid to do the bidding of these elites to bust heads, to round up people that are on the red list, the yellow list, to put into these detention centers, into these FEMA camps, man, and to put you on those cargo planes. And hey, the rest. All right. Hey, so we're living in some very serious and the days are evil, man. So brothers got to make sure you're being circumspect. Make sure you aware of your surroundings. Make sure you got your paperwork on you at all time, man, because it's going to be pretty much on that level. where profiling is going to be at the highest of levels. You just never know. You could be driving to work and, hey, they can try to pull you over and just snatch you out of the car and say you're on the list and say you're somebody that you're not. You know, it can be a so-called mistaken identity, but this is the power that Trump is giving, these agencies, man. You see? It says an illegal abuse of power commonly associated with Eastern Bloc police states. Reviewing the agency's recent arrest records is not hard to see why agents don't want their identities known. On an unprecedented scale, they are rounding up and detaining immigrants who aren't accused of any criminal activity. ICE apprehensions of immigrants facing criminal charges are up 128% over last year, but the agency's detention of immigrants without criminal records has increased by more than 1,400%. So you can see where they're who they're really rounding up is so-called immigrants with no criminal records. Some of them have probably been here 20, 30 years, got businesses, pay taxes, they came here and made a better life for themselves, but they were supposed to be rounding up all of the violent criminals, all of these MS-13, these Tren de Agua. How come you don't see them being rounded up and being taken into custody? Why aren't they shutting down their criminal enterprises that they, were establishing and doing during the Biden administration? You see them going to car washes, to businesses, to warehouses, where they're locking up some of these migrants who don't have any criminal records. Oh, they're doing that even on the farms, man. Like a lesson I did a couple of days ago. Yeah, that's why famine is getting ready to come here. They're getting the farmers, the people that are picking the fruits and the vegetables, the gardeners, the hotel staff, the the car washers. People that do jobs that the average American is too snobby and too snooty to want to do, they're snatching these people from off the streets. You see? So, hey, man, it's just Jacob's trouble is it's at the door, man. It says and one thing you don't see him grabbing up so-called Indian, all these other nations and nationalities that cross the border during the Biden administration. You don't see them grabbing up a bunch of Chinese by the hundreds, by the thousands. You don't see them going into Chinatown and kicking in businesses and warehouses where a lot of these fucking Asian migrants are in there working under the table and not papered up. So hey, man, we can see where this is headed. And now they're being they have laws in the books to where they can legally do this shit, man. Yep. Where was I? Yep. No, not that one. Yep. This is Psalm chapter 94, verse 20. It says, "Shall the throne of iniquity have fellowship with thee, which frameth mischief by a law? They gather themselves together against the souls of the righteous and condemn the innocent blood." You see? So hey, there is no fellowship with this society. So like I said, a lot of you Jakes that's trusting in Egypt, a lot of you Southern Kingdom that think you all good, you better think again, because now hey, these devils have passed laws now to where now you can be taken. You can't say, well, I was born here, I got citizenship. That ain't gonna matter anymore. Hey, if this man deems you to be unfit and a character that he doesn't want here in this country anymore, hey, you can be grabbed up and deported out of this country. You can be locked in a concentration camp. You can be grabbed up against your will, racially profiled, and disappeared, man. You see? I think I'm done with this. There was another part in here I wanted to read, but yeah, here it is. It says other arms of the federal government are already moving ahead with plans to turbocharge the MAGA-filled model of immigration enforcement as a glorified form of political terror and disenfranchisement. A recent NPR expose found that the Department of Homeland Security has joined forces with data thugs without portfolio at the Department of Government Efficiency to create the federal government's searchable national citizenship data system. The ostensible mission behind the database is to provide the state and local election officials with confirmation of the citizenship status of prospective voters. Blah, blah, blah. Was that it? Was that it? Here we go. It says, but the real damage here, as NPR reporters Drew Joff Block and Miles notes, concerns the creation of a national surveillance state on steroids. Without any public debate or consultation with Congress, This level of integration among federal agencies handling sensitive personal data has never existed before, they write. The expert called it a sea change that inches the U.S. closer to having a roster of citizens, something the country has never embraced. A centralized national database of Americans' personal information has long been considered a third rail, especially to private advocates as well as political conservatives who have traditionally opposed mass data consolidation by the federal government. Yep. So you can see what these devils are doing, man, and they're passing these laws to be able to do these things, man. And there's going to be nothing that you people can do about it. If they grab you up, man, hey, they just grab you up. And at the end of the day, you better hope that Yahweh Shem Yahushua is with you once they grab you, man. All right. This is Amos 6:1. It says, "Woe to them that are at ease in Zion, and that trust in the mountain of Samaria, which are named the chief of the nations, to whom the house of Israel came." Spiritually talking about America, man. It says, "Pass ye unto Calneh and see, and from thence go you to Hamath the great. Then go down to Gath of the Philistines. Be they better than these kingdoms, or their border greater than your border?" Here's the point. Ye that put far away the evil day, and cause the seed of violence to come near. You see? That lie upon beds of ivory, and stretch themselves upon their couches, and eat the lambs out of the flock, and the calves out of the midst of the stall, that chant to the sound of the viol, and invent to themselves instruments of music like David, that drink wine in bowls, and anoint themselves with the chief ointments, but they are not grieved for the affliction of Joseph. See, and this is what a lot of you Southern Kingdom, you so-called Negroes, was in this spirit. You was trusting in Egypt. You saw the Northern Kingdom getting grabbed up, and you was like, "Shit, we good. We we American citizens. Hey, we all right with Babylon. Hey, I voted for Trump. I got American citizenship. They can't grab me. They can't take me. Shit, you better get out of that comfort and out of that ease, because now you're getting ready to be profiled, man. And we're about to start seeing a massive amounts of these Haitians getting grabbed up, and you better believe." As they're rounding up a lot of these Haitians, they're going to mistake some of you so-called Negroes for being Haitians, and they're going to grab you up. They're going to take you out of your car, might, go to your place of business. And now, you're going to be no longer so comfortable here in Babylon the Great, man. And this goes for all of us, the prophets and the men of the Lord too, because some of us might be profiled and, grabbed up by one of these, this great insurrection that's coming upon Jakes, man. All right. This is Revelation chapter 2, verse 10. It says, "Fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. Behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison, that ye may be tried. And ye have tribulation 10 days. Be thou faithful unto death, and I will give thee a crown of life." You see? So pretty soon, ain't none of us, we all can be victims to this brutal police state that this Trump administration is building, that this cruel law is getting ready to come down upon a lot of you tribes, man. And if you ain't, of the chosen of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, man, hey, good luck. We'll see how things are going to go for you. You see? So, hey, man, just got to be circumspect, be wise out there, and move circumspectly, man, and keep your head on the swivel, because you just never know, man. So with that, Lord willing, this is edifying. I'm going to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Hashem Yahushai for putting the spirit in me to do this lesson. Until the next one, shalom.